I died choking on my own blood. The taste of betrayal as sharp as the shards of glass from the windshield that should never have shattered. They called it an accident. A drunk driver, they said at the funeral. But I knew better, even as the world faded to black. The last thing I saw was Mark's face in the rearview mirror of my mind, smirking as he whispered, "You were always just tech support, Alice. Stay in your lane." And then, like a glitch in the Matrix, I woke up. Not in some ethereal afterlife, but gasping for air in my old studio apartment in San Francisco, the alarm clock blaring 7:15 a.m. on a Tuesday in 2022, the day before the pitch meeting that ruined me. My hands flew to my neck, expecting scars from the crash that never happened. Nothing, just the faint prickle of yesterday's cheap coffee on my tongue. I'd been given a do-over, a second chance to claw back what was mine. And this time, I'd make them pay. The fog of disorientation lifted like morning mist off the bay, replaced by a cold, electric clarity. I was 28 again, buried under student loans and ramen wrappers, logging into the VPN for Apex Innovations, the mid-tier tech firm that pretended to disrupt while sucking the soul out of anyone who dared dream bigger. My role? Tier 1 support. The faceless voice-fixing printers and password resets for VPs who wouldn't spit on me if I was on fire. But I wasn't just a script reader. I'd coded my first app at 16, hacked my high school's grading system at 18 to expose a teacher's embezzlement, got a slap on the wrist and a scholarship out of it. Apex was supposed to be my launchpad. Instead, it became my grave. I stumbled to the mirror, staring at the reflection of the old me. Messy auburn hair tied in a hasty ponytail, freckles across a nose still too button-cute for boardrooms, green eyes that hid firewalls of code behind exhaustion. The scar from my childhood bike crash was there on my chin, but not the jagged one from the wreck. Holy shit, I muttered, my voice cracking. It was real. I was back. The memories flooded in waves. The stolen prototype, the framed emails, the accident engineered by a hired thug in a black SUV. Mark, my supposed mentor and the one man I'd let close enough to see my vulnerabilities, had sold me out for a corner office. And Elena, my roommate and confidant, she'd laughed over wine the night before, calling my big idea adorable, while texting him screenshots of my notes. No more. This time, I'd play their game, but I'd rewrite the rules. I grabbed my laptop, the same battered Dell that had birthed Project Sentinel, a neural network AI that could predict and neutralize cyber threats in real time, scalable to billions in enterprise value. In my first life, I'd pitched it naively, and they'd gutted me for it. Now, I'd build it in the shadows, layer by encrypted layer, until it was unbreakable. And when the moment came, I'd flip the switch, lock them out, watch Apex crumble from the inside. The commute to the office was a blur of Muni delays and overpriced lattes, the city humming with that false promise of innovation. San Francisco in 2022, electric scooters dodging tourists, billboards hawking the next unicorn, VCs circling like sharks. I blended in, just another hoodie in the herd, but inside, I was a live wire. Apex's headquarters squatted in Soma, a glass monolith etched with slogans like "Innovate without limits." Limits? Yeah, right. I'd hit mine the hard way. Clocking in at my cubicle farm, affectionately dubbed the Pen by the brothers who ran the place, I fired up the ticket queue. First up, resetting Brad from marketing's Outlook. "Thanks, Alice. You're a lifesaver," he typed, the emoji heart feeling like a patronizing pat on the head. In my past life, I'd smiled through it. Now, I imagined Sentinel's algorithms dissecting his phishing-prone habits, flagging him as a liability. Baby steps. Lunch was the real gauntlet. The break room, a sterile cave of ping-pong tables and kombucha taps, where the real power plays happened. I grabbed a sad turkey wrap and slid into my usual spot by the window, pretending to scroll LinkedIn. That's when they descended. Mark Hargrove, Golden Boy lead engineer, with his gelled hair and startup founder beard. Elena Vasquez, my bestie from orientation, all sharp bob and sharper wit, and a rotating cast of yes-men nursing IPAs before noon. "Hey, support queen," Mark drawled, dropping into the seat across from me, his knee accidentally brushing mine under the table. In the before, I'd blushed, mistaking it for flirtation. Now, it was just another hook in the con. "Heard you fixed the CFO's VPN last night." "Hero shit," Elena chimed in, popping a cherry tomato like it was caviar. "Seriously, Alice, you're wasting that brain on help desk. Ever think about, I don't know, contributing to real projects? Her eyes sparkled with that faux sisterly concern, but I caught the glance she shot Mark, the one that said, keep her sweet, she's useful. I forced a laugh, the kind that echoed hollow in my chest. Real projects? Like what? Debugging your ego code. It was a mild jab, testing waters. In the timeline I'd left, I'd been too eager to please, spilling my guts about Sentinel over after-work tacos. This time, I'd be the ghost in the machine. Mark leaned in, voice dropping to that conspiratorial timbre. Ouch. But for real, we've got this pitch tomorrow for the board. Quantum Secure Data Vault. Game changer. His fingers drummed the table, inches from my hand. I knew the script. He'd borrow my ideas, credit himself, and when the acquisition hit, I'd be the expendable intern they scapegoated for the leaks. Sounds sexy, I said, popping a chip with deliberate nonchalance. Need a beta tester? I could poke holes in it for free. Offer help, but on my terms. Plant the seed that I was indispensable without giving away the farm. Elena snorted. Poke holes. Girl, you'd need a PhD to even understand the specs. Laughter rippled through the group, the kind that stung like salt in a fresh wound. Just tech support, the label they'd branded me with since day one. I swallowed the rage, hot and metallic, and smiled wider. PhDs are overrated. Results matter. Under the table, my foot nudged my backpack, where my external drive hummed with Sentinel's embryonic code, already forked into a shadow server I'd spun up last night from my reborn haze. It was rudimentary now, just a proof-of-concept crawler, but it was mine. Untouchable. The afternoon dragged in a haze of escalations, a server outage traced to some intern's bad deploy, not mine, for once, a C-suite exec raging about two-factor glitches. By 5 p.m., I was the office whisperer, soothing egos while my mind mapped escape routes. Quitting wasn't an option, not yet. I needed access, the intranet's veins pulsing with Apex's dirty little secrets. In my first go-round, I'd uncovered them too late. The backroom deals with shady offshore data brokers, the cooked books to inflate valuations for the upcoming IPO. Mark had buried it all, framing me as the whistleblower when I tried to go public. The accident followed 2 days later. Back home that night, the apartment reeked of familiarity. Elena's forgotten yoga mat by the door, the leaky faucet dripping like a metronome of regret. She breezed in at 8, arms laden with takeout from that overrated fusion spot in the Mission. Rough day? She asked, dumping pad thai on the coffee table scarred from too many late-night coding sessions. I shrugged, cracking open a beer from the fridge. Ours, but mostly mine. Same old. Fixed the world, got mocked for it. We settled into the couch, the TV murmuring some true crime doc about corporate espionage. Fitting. Elena twirled noodles, her eyes on me like a hawk on a mouse. You know, Mark was asking about you today. Says you're undervalued. Thinks you could. Level up. There it was, the bait. In the before, I'd bitten, sharing sketches of Sentinel's architecture over this exact meal. I took a slow sip, letting the foam linger on my lip. Level up how? Into what? His personal admin. Play dumb, deflect. But inside, the gears turned. Sentinel could do more than predict threats. It could unearth them. Tonight, I'd feed it the first crumbs. Anonymized logs from today's tickets, cross-referenced with public SEC filings on Apex's partners. She laughed, too loud. Admin, please. More like co-conspirator. The pitch tomorrow? It's huge. If you had ideas. Trailing off, expectant. I met her gaze, holding it just a beat too long. Ideas are cheap. Execution's the killer. Then, casual as a weather report. Speaking of, what's the vibe on that quantum thing? Secure as they claim? Her fork paused midair. Why? Got a side hustle. Just curious. Tech support's boring, but I live for the drama. Lie layered on lie, building the facade. She bought it, rambling about encryption protocols, half of which I'd invented, the other half stolen from open-source repos. I nodded, filed it away. By midnight, with her snoring in the next room, I was deep in the code. Sentinel woke, its tendrils slipping through Apex's firewall like smoke under a door. First harvest, emails between Mark and the CFO, flagged for creative accounting. Sleep came fitful, haunted by echoes of screeching tires and shattering glass. But morning brought purpose. Day 2, the pitch. I dressed sharper than usual, black jeans, a fitted blazer over my Apex tee, hair tamed into waves. No more invisible. As I boarded the elevator to the exec floor, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. About the crash that wasn't. Jason, the security guard who'd witnessed Mark's late-night repairs to my brakes in the garage cam footage I'd never seen. Heart pounding, I deleted it. Paranoia was a luxury I couldn't afford. Not yet. The boardroom was a shark tank. 10 gray-suited predators around a table that cost more than my annual salary, holograms flickering with market projections. Mark stood at the podium, Elena flanking him like a trophy. Gentlemen, and Alice, he added with a wink that made my stomach turn. Welcome to the future of secure computing. I was there as support staff, perched in the corner with my laptop open, ostensibly to troubleshoot AV glitches. But Sentinel was live, a silent passenger in the room's Wi-Fi, sniffing packets like a bloodhound. Mark launched into the spiel, cribbing from my old notes. Neural prediction, adaptive barriers, the works. Heads nodded, questions probed valuation. $200 million floor, he boasted, with upside to 500 if we lock in DoD contracts. That's when I chimed in, voice steady. Actually, Mark, the adaptive layer could scale to 500 easy, with quantum-resistant hashing. I projected a quick sim from my deck, anonymized but potent. Gasps rippled. Eyes turned to me, not him. He recovered with a chuckle. Alice here is our secret weapon. Tech support by day, genius by. Well, always. Gracious, but the sweat beading on his brow told another story. The meeting wrapped with handshakes and let's talks. As they filed out, Mark cornered me. That was slick. Where'd you pull that sim from? Trade secret, I quipped, packing up. But Elena lingered, eyes narrowed. You're full of surprises today. Always have been, I shot back. Just took you longer to notice. That night, the first threads unraveled. Sentinel pinged. Cross-referenced emails revealed Apex's partners were fronts for Russian oligarch data farms, siphoning user intel for blackmail ops. The buried secret, Mark wasn't just stealing ideas. He was laundering code for espionage. My mistake in the first life? Trusting him enough to co-sign a repo that linked me to the leaks. I forwarded the dump to Jason's number, burner phone. Meet at the pier, midnight. Come alone. Controversial decision 1. Ally with a low-level guard who could flip on me. But he was clean, a vet with a grudge against Apex's union busting. The pier was fog-shrouded, waves slapping pilings like accusations. Jason emerged from the gloom, burly in a windbreaker, eyes darting. You look like her. The one from the footage. But, alive. Long story, I said, handing him a USB. Short version, use this. Leak it to the Chronicle. Anonymously. He pocketed it, voice gravel. Why me? And why now? Because they killed me once. Won't get the chance again. No more details. Trust was a currency I doled out in pennies. By week's end, the first cracks showed. Whispers in the halls. Heard marketing's getting audited. Brad, my old ticket pest, was out on leave. His fishing trails led straight to the oligarch's slush fund. Mark pulled me into his office. Door clicked shut. Alice, level with me. You seeing something on the tickets? Anomalies. Innocent blink. Like what? Bad passwords. His jaw tightened. Like. External probes. We're tightening security. Smart. Need help. Offer the rope. He took it. Yeah. Side project. Your sim from the pitch. Expand it. Off books, but it'll look good for promo. Bingo. Access granted. I dove in, feeding Sentinel their crown jewels while building my kill switch. A recursive lockout protocol, elegant as a sonnet, deadly as cyanide. It would firewall the entire network, routing all traffic through my ghost server, untraceable, unless you knew the backdoor passphrase, which only I did. Elena noticed the shift. Over dinner, her treat, guilt-fueled, she probed. You're different. Glowy. Spill. Just owning my lane, I said, sipping wine. Controversial too. I spiked her drink with a mild sedative, just enough to borrow her phone while she dozed. Text to Mark. She's onto us. Abort. Paranoia zone. The tension coiled like a spring. Board meetings turned interrogative. Mark's charm frayed at edges. Jason's leak hit the Chronicle. Apex innovations linked to foreign data theft. Stock dipped 8%. VCs pulled funding calls. Mid-month, The betrayal deepened. I caught them in the server room. Mark and Elena, huddled over a terminal, purging logs. My logs. Sentinel captured it all, audio of her whispering. She suspects. The crash was clean, but if she talks. My blood ran Arctic. They hadn't waited for the pitch in this timeline. Fear accelerated the hit. I slipped away, heart hammering, and amped the crawler. By dawn, Sentinel had mapped their offshore accounts. $4 million siphoned, laundered through crypto wallets I'd now flagged for IRS sniffers. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a siege. I courted allies. The quiet dev in the next cube, Priya, who'd been passed over for promotions. Help me build something real, I murmured over coffee. She bit, her Python chops weaving Sentinel's web tighter. Controversial 3. I doxed a mid-level XX affair, tasteless, but it forced a resignation, buying me breathing room. The newsrooms buzzed. Apex's PR spun like mad. Mark cornered me again. This leak shit, it's killing us. You hear anything? Only that loyalty's a two-way street, I said, eyes locked. He flinched, the predator sensing prey with teeth. The climax brewed over weeks, a storm front rolling in. Apex's IPO loomed, $2 billion valuation hinging on Sentinel's stolen bones, now rebranded as Apex Shield. The demo was set, live hack simulation for investors, Mark at the helm. I'd rigged it. One command, and the shield would turn inward, locking every endpoint, every cloud instance. Billions in data, frozen. Ransom? Nah. Exposure. Night before, Elena confronted me in the apartment. What the fuck, Alice? Mark says you're freelancing code. To competitors? I laughed, bitter. Freelancing? Try founding. Her face twisted, shock, then fury. You bitch. After everything? We gave you a shot. Shot. You gave me scraps. And the brakes on my car? That was your everything? The words hung, bombs dropping. She paled. What are you? Save it. I know. I grabbed my go bag, laptop, passports, the $50,000 I'd quietly vested from micro trades on Apex's dip. Doors slammed behind me. No going back. Demo day. The auditorium thrummed, suits and streamers, Mark preening under spotlights. I lurked in the tech booth, Priya at my side, Jason monitoring exits. Ready? She whispered. Hit it. My finger hovered over enter. Mark's voice boomed. Behold Apex Shield, impenetrable. He triggered the sim, red alerts flared, then nothing. The hack succeeded. Confusion rippled. Rebooting, he stammered, sweat slick. Backstage frenzy. That's when Sentinel sang. Every screen blacked out, code scrolling like verdicts. Alert, breach detected. Assets compromised. Access denied. Gasps. Phones died. Laptops bricked. The investor feed, live to CNBC, froze on a parting gift, dossiers scrolling. Mark's emails. Elena's texts. Offshore wires. Oligarch ties. My face, pixelated, narrating. This is Alice Harper. They call me tech support. I built their empire. They tried to kill me for it. Now, the truth sets you free. Pandemonium. Feds swarmed by evening. Headlines screamed, Apex implodes. Insider sabotage or justice. Mark vanished. Yacht to nowhere, they said. Elena lawyered up, singing like a canary for immunity. I watched from an Airbnb in Tahoe, Sentinel dismantled, its core forked to open source under a pseudonym. Priya got the credit, a fat settlement, her own startup seed. Jason? Relocated, debts cleared. Twist came via email, weeks later, from Mark, routed through proxies. You win, Alice. But you always were the best part of the code. Miss you. M. Attached, wedding pics. Him and Elena, Vegas quickie, dated the day after the demo. They'd been endgame all along. Laughter bubbled up, cathartic, broken. Happy ending? For them, maybe, a Pyrrhic exile. For me, a new life, unmocked, unlocked. But the scar on my chin itched. Reminder, some locks you pick yourself. The Tahoe cabin smelled of pine and fresh starts, but freedom tasted like ash. I traded the city's grind for snow-capped peaks and a Faraday pouch for my phone, but the ghosts tagged along. Mark's email looped in my mind, that photo of him and Elena in tacky Elvis Chapel attire, a middle finger from the grave I'd dug for their dreams. I'd won, sure. Apex was a carcass picked clean by regulators. Its $500 million valuation evaporated like morning frost. But victory? It whispered questions in the quiet hours. Was I any better than them? I fired up the laptop, Sentinel's remnants purring in a virtual machine. No more weapon, now a guardian. I'd open-sourced the core algorithms under Ghostwire, crediting Priya as lead contributor. She texted daily. Dude, VCs are blowing up my DMs. Owe you everything. I replied with emojis, kept distance. Allies were tools, not tethers. First order, liquidate. Crypto from the shadow trades, $1.2 million, clean as a whistle. Wired to offshore trusts, layered through NFTs no one would trace. Controversial 4. I'd hacked a rival firm's algo trading bot during the chaos, siphoning microfractions. Pennies from billions, but it funded my vanishing act. Ethics. In the mirror of my first death, they looked like survival. A week in, the feds knocked, metaphorical at first. A burner buzzed. Ms. Harper? Special Agent Ruiz, FBI. Coffee. Neutral ground. Heart stuttered. Paranoia or payoff. We met at a diner off I-80, vinyl booths sticky with syrup ghosts. Ruiz was compact, Latina, eyes like laser sights. Off record, she said, sliding a latte my way. Apex was dirty. We know you lit the fuse. But the dossiers? Gold. Oligarchs in the wind, but trails lead to indictments. I sipped, neutral, happy to help justice. She leaned in. Cut the shit. Mark Hargrove's MIA. Elena's talking, says you orchestrated it all. Revenge for a setup crash. Ice in veins. Setup? Sounds like her fiction. Ruiz's smile didn't reach her eyes. We pulled the SUV's black box. Brakes intact. Driver? Hired muscle, paid in Apex script. But the footage, garage cam shows Hargrove near your car. Tampered? Jury's out. My turn to lean. And if I say I remember different? Then you're a ghost. Or a liar. She slid a card. Immunity's on table if you flip on the players. We need the code. Sentinel's ghost stirred. Hand it over? Betrayal's echo. I'll think. Back at the cabin, I paced. Jason called. Coast clear. Elena's deal. Testify against Mark, walks free. Rage flared anew. Free? After the whispers, the sabotage? No. Decision 5, the gut punch. Go public. Not as victim, but architect. I drafted a Medium post, anonymized. From cubicle to cataclysm. How I toppled a tech titan. No names at first, but breadcrumbs to the truth. Published at midnight, it viraled by dawn. Retweets from whistleblower accounts. Nods from Snowden's circle. Comments flooded. Queen shit. This is why we unionize. But was the lockout legal? Legal. Huh. In America's wild west of code, gray was the new black. Protests sparked outside Apex's husk. Ex-employees, gig workers, chanting tech for all. Priya texted, you're trending. Ghostwire revenge. Holy fuck. The heat built. Reporters sniffed my trail. I ghosted to Portland. Rainy Vale perfect for reinvention. New name, Allie Hart. Barista by day, coder by night. Sentinel evolved. Now Heart Shield. Freelance pentesting for ethical firms. Clients trickled. A nonprofit fighting deep fakes. A union digitizing contracts. Purpose, not profit. But Mark haunted. Dreams of his smirk, Elena's laugh. I traced him via Sentinel's dark web crawlers. Belize, under alias Mark Hale, running a consulting gig for Apex remnants? No, deeper. A cartel front, laundering through metaverse land grabs. The buried secret unburied. Apex hadn't been rogue. It was a node in a global web, Mark the spider at center. Controversial 6. I reached out. Encrypted drop. Belize is cute. But Heartshield sees all. Walk away, or I drop your ledger. Attached, screenshots of his wallets, tied to narco trades. Reply came swift. Alice. Knew it was you. Walk away. From what? Our future. Join me. We built this. Our delusion's perfume. Future's mine. Yours ends. No immediate fallout. I settled into Portland's rhythm. Farmers markets, microbrews, Priya visiting with seed-round champagne. You're a legend, she said, clinking glasses. But hiding? Nah. Come to the launch party. Own it. Temptation tugged. The spotlight I'd shunned. But shadows suited me. Twist 2. Elena surfaced. Not in cuffs, but a podcast invite. Whistleblowers unmasked. I tuned in, incognito VPN. Her voice, polished. Alice Harper was brilliant, but unstable. The crash? Paranoia. We tried to help. Help. The word curdled. I fired back anonymously in comments. Ask her about the SUV wire transfer. Timestamp 3:14 a.m. Apex account 4782. The episode imploded. Lawsuits flew. Her deal cratered. Ruiz called again. Nice shot. She's folding. Name's Mark. Progress, but hollow. I needed closure. Months blurred. Heart Shield boomed. $5 million revenue. Remote team of misfits like me. Jason started a security firm, Peer Watch, nodding to our meet. We Skyped weekly, his gruff laugh a bomb. You saved my ass, kid. Now pay it forward. I did. Donated code to free clinics. Built apps for evicted tenants tracking slumlords. America's underbelly, digitized defiance. Then, the pull. A conference in Vegas. Black hat, hacker mecca. Priya dragged me. Incognito, promise. I went, hoodie up, alias badge. The expo floor buzzed. Drones, VR rigs, keynotes on AI ethics. I palmed a beer, blending. That's when I saw him. Mark, panelist on post-breach recovery. Leaner, beard grayer, but the smirk intact. Panic spiked, then steel. I slipped to the green room post-talk, badge flashing press. He was alone, scrolling phone. Miss me. My voice, casual venom. He froze, then grinned. Alice fucking Harper. Knew you'd crawl out. Crawl? I soared. I stepped closer, no fear. Belize was sloppy. Cartels don't like loose ends. His eyes narrowed. Threats? From tech support. Evolve. I held up my phone. Live feed. Sentinel mirroring his device. Text to Elena. Fresh. She's here. End it. Betrayal's knife twisted anew. End it. Like before. You two deserve each other, I said. But America's got no room for spiders. I hit send. Not to him, but a BCC to Ruiz, timestamps attached. Feds would love the geopings. He lunged. Reflex. Not violence. Just a grab for the phone. I sidestepped. Years of self-defense classes paying off. Too late. Security swarmed. He played innocent. But the cuffs clicked by morning. Elena turned states. Their elopement a farce for alibis. Vegas blurred to triumph. Priya hugged me on stage at her launch. To Alice, the real disruptor. Crowd roared. I stepped to Mike, dropping the alias. They mocked me as just tech support. But code doesn't lie. Neither do I. Flashbulbs popped. The world knew. Back in Portland, rain pattered like applause. Mark's trial loomed. Life, maybe, for the webs he'd spun. Elena? Community service, a footnote. Me? Heart Shield hit $50 million valuation, team expanding. Jason proposed partnership over whiskey. Family, kid. I accepted. Happy. Closer. The scar itched less. But in quiet nights, I wondered, rebirth or recursion? The system's locked, but doors swing both ways. Portland's rain had a rhythm, like code compiling, steady, relentless, forging something unbreakable. Heart Shield's loft office overlooked the Willamette, floor-to-ceiling windows framing bridges strung with holiday lights, a far cry from Apex's sterile glare. 6 months post-Vegas, and the empire I'd birthed from ashes hummed. 20 devs, contracts with the ACLU and indie banks, a waitlist for my ethical breach simulations. Priya co-CEO now, her optimism the yang to my guarded een. Jason's firm merged in, adding muscle. Ex-cops auditing physical perimeters while Sentinel guarded the digital. Life normalized, or its illusion. Mornings, oat milk lattes from the corner roaster, runs along the esplanade where dog walkers nodded hellos. Afternoons, whiteboarding neural nets, debating if AI could ever truly atone. Evenings, solo dinners, true crime pods, the occasional date that fizzled when I dodged questions about that viral takedown. The past wasn't buried, it fermented. Ruiz checked in quarterly, updates on the unraveling. Mark's trial a circus, cartel ties exploding into international headlines. Your dossier sealed it, she'd say. Extradition pending. Elena's cooperating. Full confession on the break job. Confession. The word soured. I'd seen the deposition leak. Her tears, the I was scared please. Scared? Of losing the penthouse view, the Birkin bags funded by stolen code. Forgiveness wasn't in my stack. I deleted that module post-rebirth. Controversial 7. I visited her. Not for absolution, but intel. Oregon Women's Prison, Visitation room sterile as a clean room. She shuffled in, orange jumpsuit swallowing her frame, bob hacked short. Alice, she breathed, chains rattling. You came. Closure, I corrected, sliding into the plastic chair. No warmth, just facts. Mark's singing too. About the web. Your role. Her eyes darted, then spilled. It started small, data side hustle for quick cash. Then the oligarchs. Pressure. The pitch? We needed your idea to buy time. The car. Mark's panic, not mine. I begged him to stop. Lies layered like varnish. Sentinel had the texts. Do it clean. She's a liability. Her thumbs. Why tell me? I pressed. Because you're free. And I miss our nights. The real ones, before. Tears tracked mascara ruins. Pity flickered, snuffed quick. Nights? You sold mine for a title. I stood. Rot knowing. I rebuilt better without you. Driving back, wipers slashing fog, the hook twisted. Was she the villain, or the mirror? Betrayal's seed, planted in my naivety. I'd been the fool, trusting serpents in Eden's code. Heartshield's growth accelerated. Acquisition offers from Google, Microsoft, the irony not lost. Name your price. Their scouts cooed over Zoom. I countered. Equity for my team, open source mandates. Power, not payout. Jason noticed the drift. Over burgers at his dive haunt. Neon PDX sign flickering. He probed. You're spinning, Alice. Vegas high now what? Burnout. Revenge blues. I admitted, ketchup packet bursting like a confetti bomb. Won the war, but the ghosts debug at night. He nodded, vet scars etching his jaw. Ghosts lie, build monuments instead. Wise gruff. That night, we coded a side project, Rebirth Net, a platform for whistleblowers, encrypted drops, legal aid pipelines. My atonement arc? Twist 3, Mark's escape. Trial day 3, courthouse chaos. Bomb threat evac. Guards down, he vanished in the scrum. Fed scrambled, my phone lit up with alerts. Sentinel auto-scanned. Pings to a Cayman jet, destination private island. Elena's doing? Her confession of faint. Rage reignited, pure octane. I rallied the team, hunt mode. Priya hesitated, legal? But Jason grinned. Gray's our color. We traced, shell companies, yacht logs, a breadcrumb to the Caymans. Controversial 8. I flew solo, economy to Miami, then charter to the Rock. No guns, just a USB laced with a worm, Sentinel's final evolution, a self-replicating expose virus. One plug-in, and his servers would broadcast every sin to Interpol. The island was paradise poisoned, white sands, palms swaying like fans at a funeral. I posed as a consultant, badge forged slick. His compound, glass villa, infinity pool overlooking turquoise, guarded loose, cartel cash buying complacency. Infiltration, dusk, caterer's van, uniform borrowed. Heart syncopated as I wheeled trays to the cabana, where he lounged, Elena at his side, tanned, bikini-clad, a mojito in hand. Laughter peeled, oblivious. Refills. I murmured, tray steady. Mark glanced up, casual, then froze. Recognition dawned slow, then sharp. Alice. No shout, just silk over steel. Come to gloat. Elena stiffened, glass clinking down. Get out. I smiled, setting the tray. Just delivering. Slipped the USB into his laptop bag, unobtrusive. The worm would burrow on boot, 24 hours to exfil. Join us, Mark said, rising. Not plea, proposition. This life's big enough. We three, rulers, not rivals. The offer hung, temptation's apple. Power couple +1. Rebirth's cruel joke. No, I said. Your code's corrupt. Mine runs clean. Security loomed. I ghosted, van peeling into twilight. Airport dash, red eyes home. By touchdown, the worm hit. Global feeds erupted. Fugitive tech mogul nabbed. Cartel confessions go viral. Drones over the villa, seals fast roping. Mark and Elena, zip-tied on beaches, mugshots memed by morning. Ruiz called, poetic. But next time, loop me in. Teamwork, I quipped. Hang up, exhale. Portland welcomed wet, the loft alive with cheers. Team toasting, Operation Sunset. Priya hugged fierce. You're our North Star. But solitude called. I hiked Multnomah Falls, mist cloaking the cascade like veils. At the bridge, overlooking the roar, clarity crashed. Revenge wasn't the end. It was the compiler. I'd output better. Mentorships for underdogs. Grants for tech support dreamers. Alice Harper, not ghost, but guide. Jason proposed again, this time ringside. Partners proper? Simple band, his eyes earnest. I said yes. Dawn broke, rain ceasing. The system's locked, but love picks locks too. Yet, in the code's quiet comments, I left a note. Twist awaits. Always. The wedding was small, Portland punk. Food trucks slinging vegan tacos, a string quartet mangling punk anthems. Jason in a kilt grinning like he'd won the lottery. I walked the aisle in boots and lace. Priya officiating with vows laced in binary jokes. Alice and Jason, ones and zeros, forever entangled. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Devs, whistleblowers, even Ruiz toasting with soda. Hartshield's family, forged in fire. Honeymoon? Nah. We eloped to a cabin in the Cascades. No phones, just maps and stars. There, under a meteor shower, Jason traced my scar. Story. Old crash, I lied soft. Truth too heavy for new beginnings. Rebirth's gift. Normalcy, hard won. Back home, Hartshield scaled. $200 million valuation. TED Talk invites. Forbes 30 under 30 nods. I keynote at TechCrunch Disrupt. From mock to maker. Hacking equity in tech. Standing ovation. But backstage, the itch returned. Success's shadow, isolation. Who knew the real me? The woman who'd coded vengeance in her veins? Controversial 9, I mentored. Started support to summit. Scholarships for help desk heroes. Women, POC, the overlooked. First cohort. 10 wide-eyed coders. Their pitches raw as mine once was. 1, a kid named Lena from Detroit, echoed my fire. They call me the fixer. I'll build the breaker. Pride swelled, but so did doubt. Was I perpetuating the cycle? Teaching war, not peace? Jason sensed it. You're brooding, code wife. Over breakfast, his pancakes legendary, he pushed. The mark thing, it's done. Let it compile. Compiled, I echoed. But dreams defied. Glass shards, blood, that rear-view smirk. Therapy? Portland's shrinks were booked. I debugged solo. Journaling commits of grief. Twist 4, the gut trencher, pregnancy. 2 lines on a stick, dawn light, slanting accusatory. Joy crashed against terror. Motherhood in a world of wolves? Jason hooped, spinning me till dizzy. Mini hacker incoming. But nights, I stared at ceilings, sentinels echo whispering. Vulnerable again. Controversial 10. Abortion crossed my mind, swift and sharp. Career apex, threats lingering. No. This life, I'd code continuity. Ultrasound hummed. Heartbeat like Morse, stay. Hartshield adapted. Maternity leave? Hybrid, remote fortress. Priya stepped up, seamless. The team thrived. Lena's app went viral, exposing gig economy wage theft. Mark's fate sealed. Life in Supermax. Cartel extradition, a domino fall. Elena? House arrest. Memoir deal pending. Betrayed by the boss babe. I declined the Netflix pitch. Some stories self-destruct. Years folded. Baby Arya arrived screaming, red-faced fury, my eyes, Jason's chin. She cooed at code on screens, fingers batting keys. Future breaker, Jason joked. I wrote the book, Locked Out, a reborn engineer's revenge. Not tell-all, but blueprint, Betrayal's anatomy, resilience's syntax, bestseller. But I donated proceeds to support to Summit. At Arya's 5th birthday, cake smeared, balloons popping, the doorbell chimed. Package, no sender, drive inside, labeled for the real architect. I plugged in wary. Files bloomed, blueprints, not mine. Apex's original vault. Mark's pre-theft sketches, cribbed from a forgotten intern. Notes in margins. Alice's influence? Borrowed brilliance. The twist, I wasn't the sole spark. We'd all stolen, iterated, betrayed in the churn. No pure villain, just humans, hashing flaws. I burned the drive, ashes to the Willamette. Closure's cipher. Decade on, Hartshield's a behemoth, ethical AI giant. UN contracts, Arya in Turning Summers. Jason's graying handsome, our debates over dinner. Ethics, empires. They still whisper tech support in boardrooms, but I own the echo. Mocked. Once. Locked out. Never again. Rebirth taught. Code life's bugs, don't crash. And in the end, happy, jagged, mine, I debugged the darkest. Forgiveness, forked from rage. The system runs. I run it.